Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fairfield Financial News Podcast. I'm Jonathan Vicente, and here I am joined with my co-hosts,
Andrew Miller
and James Protonensis.
We're very excited. This has been in the works for a long time. And yeah, we're really here just to, keep you guys updated on the latest news in the financial world. Keep you guys informed. All right, so yeah, let's dive right in.
All right. I think we got to start off with NYCB. This is a massive story.
All right, lay it on us, Miller.
We knew it was bad. They really struggled with some losses, but no one expected it to be this bad. $2.7 billion losses in the fourth quarter. The CEO's gone.
They're cooked.
I mean, they just had the biggest merger of the year with a major merger. I don't know if it's the biggest one. They had a major merger with Flagstar. They bought up
so far this year,
I think it might have been in the works last year, though.
Yeah.
So can I ask you something? From my understanding, NYCB, they bought, so all those banks that went out of business last year.
Bought all their assets.
They bought their assets, but with their debt.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why they're
Silicon
in a bad
Valley
situation.
being the most namely, right? I believe so.
Silicon Valley Bank.
They bought
Yeah.
Signature, yeah.
First Republic Bank.
I believe they bought some assets from all of them. I think Signature was the biggest. But they also had a recent merger with Flagstar Bank, a bank out of Minnesota, I believe. So I think it was just a bad string of events. But I really think the problem wasn't necessarily the assets they bought, but I think the underlying assets did not perform.
Exactly. Well, that's what they're saying. It's the legacy assets that's failed. It's not so much the assets that they bought from,
it really
failing banks.
Really makes you wonder, like, what were they thinking? Like,
Yeah.
they're making all these big acquisitions. They had to know there was problems with these assets.
They were just killing it, like, not too long ago either.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a good buy not too long ago.
It was.
If we're looking at the charts, I mean, they hit, when all the banks were failing or going down after Silicon Valley, they hit a low of 650. They got all the way up to 1340 in July, I believe.
Great return.
Yeah, they were able to really get back into where they were, and then since then it's just been downhill.
So, what do you guys think is the future outlook? Can they get out of the situation? Do you think now is maybe a good buy because they might have an outlook?
I would definitely. I'm optimistic because the United States government doesn't want to see any more banks fail. They're really gonna push for success for NYCB, but I think it really depends on how this new leadership comes in. Obviously, they have a new CEO. I believe Flagstar CEO actually stepped in.
Well, people will argue, like, from the banks last year, the government, I mean, they really couldn't do much about it, but they didn't bail them out. They went out of business.
Yeah, full on.
Yeah.
So people might just be like, why wouldn't they help them but not those guys?
I think NYCB is bigger than, and I also think NYCB's problems aren't as big as Silicon Valley's or Signature's.
Yeah, that was a very special situation. That was a large series of banks failing for a very specific reason.
I think that was all crypto related.
Yeah.
So I think the failure of crypto, or not the failure of crypto, but the
I don't know, was it crypto related?
Well, it was the FTX Shabagle.
Yeah. The
With what was his name? The guy that ran that?
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Sam
Friedman Bank.
No, it was Sam Bankman.
So he's in jail now. I think I saw that.
Yeah,
he's
gone for a while, man.
I saw a picture of him in jail. Well, next to some guys that did not look friendly. I'll tell you that.
But I don't think NYCB's problems are as big. Like I mean, like, even with Signature and Silicon Valley, when they failed, it was over. I think NYCB, they got to reevaluate where they're at. Definitely take a look at these assets, these underlying assets that failed. Figure out. But I think they have a longer track record than all these other banks that failed.
Exactly. Yeah.
They've been around forever.
By the way, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes.
Well, I would say entertain. This is educational.
It's just our opinion. It's all our opinions.
Yeah. This is an opinion piece right here. It's worth noting that Miller's a bit biased on this topic because his mom, as a matter of fact, is an employee of NYCB.
Yeah, his family's livelihood is on the line here. So of course he's going to be optimistic.
No, guys, it's no bias.
No bias. I agree with that. I don't think.
No, we're just joking, obviously, but
with the track record they've had, I don't think I don't think the government's going to let them fail.
I mean, it's hard to tell from someone sitting on the outside here because they're not going to tell us how bad the problem is. They're obviously going to be optimistic. And the fact that, I mean, their new CEO said that, like, the underlying bank, like...
I mean, they've already told the public it's a pretty bad situation. Who knows what's really going on behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Danilo, the new CEO, said, while we faced recent challenges, we are confident in the direction of the bank and our ability to deliver for our customers, employees, and shareholders in the long term. I mean,
if I had a bank account in them, I would pull out.
Well, I mean, FDIC insurance is going to protect anything up to $250.
If I had over $250...
Definitely diversifying a couple different banks here.
I'm definitely going to somewhere else. That's for sure.
Did we mention this earnings report that came out today?
Yeah, $2.7 billion.
It says 2.4 here, New York Times. 2.4 billion.
That's interesting.
In losses.
Because Yahoo Finance says 2.7.
So they had balloon payments debt. So that means they had to pay one big sum, so they don't pay it periodically. So at the end of this term, they had to pay this one big balloon payment.
Oh man, look, 20% drop after hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's following actually what was going to be a good day. They were up a little bit, and I think overall they got to reevaluate their at.
Yeah.
As soon as this report came out, they dropped 15% right off the bat, and now they're down 20%. I mean, the outlook's not looking good.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
I don't know. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if this completely went under, you know.
No, it wouldn't be surprising, but I think they have such a strong like backbone. Yeah. And they can definitely sell off they definitely have profitable assets that they can sell off if they need to. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond.
Do you know, Andrew, since your mom works there, do you know what their main revenue streams are besides just bank accounts and all that?
So they're a home lending.
Yeah.
I think primarily home lending. But I'm not sure about what they diversified with Flagstar. I'm not entirely sure what Flagstar's bank is or like profit comes from.
Because I kind of want to get to the root of the problem because they bought all these assets. I just want to know like what this balloon payment is really like, you know, what they have to pay back essentially.
I mean, they're blaming a lot on material weaknesses in internal controls. So, I mean, it seems that they were forced to stockpile much more cash for losses on offices and apartment buildings. I really think that the problems were a lot of them in, I think it was commercial real estate actually.
And commercial real estate isn't doing that good right now because of COVID.
No.
So they're not getting the if they have rental properties, they're not getting those payments in because they probably have a lot of vacant spaces.
I mean, what's crazy is they slashed their dividend by 71% to keep capital in, and these losses are still coming.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I can't even.
I think it actually shows some good insight to that they were willing to cut the dividend because that obviously shows weakness.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and the fact that they were willing to make the tough decision to do that, I think shows a little bit of strength in their decision making.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good sign. I want to see if I can look up like a quick DCF for them, what they're actually valued right now. I don't know if I can get the report that just came out today, though.
They're blaming a lot on internal controls, so like I'm wondering what the real problem was.
Yeah, I got the DCF, Jimmy.
What's the website called?
Yeah, I got it. If you want to pass this down.
So it says here, I don't know if it's updated, but it says it's worth like $32. But that's definitely just not accurate at all.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. It could be a good buy. I'll pitch it.
I think where that comes from is before this whole like fall. I bet the revenue growth numbers for that are coming from the years before.
Yeah, it's
fall.
definitely not updated because it just came out today.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys want to shift to NVIDIA?
Oh, we got
NVIDIA. Honestly, I don't even know what to think about NVIDIA. I believe it's overvalued at the moment.
Oh,
just based on underlying like the business. But I mean, the growth opportunities with AI are like.
So
I don't think you can.
I think it is significantly overvalued. However, I mean, no hot take here. NVIDIA is here to stay. With the rise in demand for GPUs, and the endless opportunities that are coming with generative AI, NVIDIA is completely here to stay.
And what's really awesome about NVIDIA is that it's leading in its GPUs for AI are actually like industry leading. They're going to lead this market for a while, so I think their profits are going to be growing exponentially.
So my take on NVIDIA is that a lot of its growth is it's a lot of hype, but granted, they deserve that hype. I mean, they're leading in the industry with AI, like Jonathan said, and all their chips and stuff. But some of it is built in because they just came out with their earnings report up 700%.
What I really think is crazy is that NVIDIA is worth its market cap is 1.98 trillion. Apple's market cap is 2.8 trillion. Sorry.
Time to shorten a video.
So 1.5.
Put options.
Apple has about 1.5 the market cap of NVIDIA. And Apple is 6 times the revenue in the fourth quarter.
6 times NVIDIA's revenue.
Yeah, so basically...
And they're worth around the same.
Their worth is
very
similar. Yeah.
1 trillion less, but with that difference is pretty crazy.
0.8 trillion.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Apple is more of a mature company than NVIDIA. I mean, there's a lot of hype around NVIDIA with all the AI and all their chips. They're leading that industry, in the semiconductor industry. So I would say that NVIDIA is a good stock to hold. But
if I own NVIDIA, I'm holding. I don't know if I'm buying in right now, though.
Revenue-wise, it is not worth what it is right now.
I think the investors are really seeing the growth potential, though. I think it's the same with Apple. I don't think Apple's value is based on what Apple is right now. I think Apple's value is based on everything Apple has done and will do. I mean, they're constantly innovating the market. Mm-hmm. They don't make products that are inferior. Even they never price. They're not pricing competitively. Even with the new Apple Glass.
Oh yeah, the Vision Pro. Yeah,
the Vision Pro.
Oh yeah,
so
it's ridiculous.
I want to get to the Vision Pro. I want to ask you guys 100%. About that.
But, hold on, wait. More on NVIDIA. More on what you said, Miller, about if you're bought it already, you're holding now, but you're not buying in now. People have been saying that for months, man, and NVIDIA's just been going up. That's what people have been saying for the past, I want to say 6 months at least.
I'm a pretty timid investor, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Tesla, I never liked Tesla because I always thought it was overvalued just for the underlying value of the cars. I think that if you want to buy NVIDIA and you believe in NVIDIA's business, buy it. Yeah. It's definitely not going to drop like crazy one day just out of nowhere. We're going to see all this coming.
I would say one thing that differentiates Apple right now from NVIDIA is customer loyalty. I think that people, customers for Apple, they have a certain loyalty to the company where they'll keep on buying their products. I don't know, with the Vision Pro, it's really expensive right now. I don't know, maybe if it gets cheaper, it'll catch on. I'm sure it will. I mean, I'm sure Apple will be leading that industry in the future, but it's too new right now. I want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the Vision Pro is going to fully take over, man. And I think this is the same exact scenario that we saw with other Apple products like AirPods. When you think about when AirPods first dropped, everybody was like, $160 for some wireless headphones that probably don't even work well. Like, what a joke.
So,
and yeah, but $160 nowadays for wireless headphones, that's cheap, Yeah. I think the way that these products take over is it markets itself initially as like a very premium product. So when it first initially launches, people are like, oh, no way, not getting that. It's unnecessary. It's a premium product. And then as it grows, it becomes more integrated, more opportunities come from it, this new technology. And then what Apple has been doing, and it's done with its last few product launches, is it'll make like a pro version, and then it'll drop the price of the original. Okay? And then with the growth of opportunities, it integrates itself more in daily life with Apple products. And then with that drop in price of the initial product, that makes people, it makes it see it as a luxury, and it makes it see it as a luxury that just had a price drop. So it makes people want to buy it more. So I think it's going to take a minute to catch on, but that's what we've seen with a ton of Apple products in the past. It takes a minute to catch on, and then it becomes a part of daily life.
So I think it's interesting because the Vision Pro is very practical if you really think about it, because it can replace computers. It can replace the Mac. It can replace phones. So do you think those are products that Apple is selling? So do you think that it'll make in the future those products obsolete to where?
I mean, I've already seen people with their Vision Pros get rid of their trading setups Like they're a multi-monitor setup, just put on the Vision Pro and just go at it like that. You know, just have multiple monitors on the Vision Pro, you know. So if you look at it in that sense, yeah, I mean, in a way, if that becomes commonplace in workplaces, could get rid of multi-monitors, just monitor setup in general, you know. And if that if you implement like more powerful technology, I don't know how powerful the Vision Pro is in comparison to like a Mac. I don't even know if it's its own thing or if it connects to the Mac. I don't know much about it, honestly. But if you put more processing power in that, then you basically just have a wearable headset, a wearable PC without the need for monitors. So it has the potential to make a lot of products obsolete in that sense, I think.
I just don't think you can wear a Vision Pro for 10 hours a day. I don't know. I've used the Meta 2, so I haven't even used the Meta 3, which is like really the direct competitor of the Vision Pro. But even wearing like a VR headset, wearing it for like 2 hours, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even like look at this anymore.
Yeah, but I haven't even tried the Vision Pro. I haven't even tried it. I don't know how comfortable it is.
I think that this can revolutionize just work in general, because if you can just like simulate an office, you know, you don't even need office space in your house really. You could just sit in your couch. You know, it seems like you're working on your desk. Who knows what the future holds, but it could be very interesting, even like in a commercial real estate sense.
Yeah, man.
And IT too, because there won't even like all these monitors and stuff like that can disrupt that kind of industry too.
So some other news on Apple. Have you guys heard that Apple has abandoned its plans on the electric car?
I have not.
Yeah, so they fully abandoned their plans on the electric car. They said they're going to start moving towards generative AI project. And they also, with the employees that were working on the electric car, they moved those who could move to the generative AI project, they moved them there. And then they laid the rest off. Okay, so no more Apple electric car that we've been talking about for the past decade. No more of that.
I'm going to be totally honest.
They're going to be full on with the generative AI. And I think with that, that means, you know, more potential developers for like, technology catered to the Vision Pro.
I never believed in the Apple car.
I think everyone was very skeptical. Yeah,
I think there was too much belief in this like Apple like taking over everything. I don't think Apple. I don't know how much dedicated people they had on the Apple car. If it was like an actual team or if it was just
Let me look that up actually.
Yeah. So as he's looking it up, so what's your take, Andrew, on electric cars in general in that industry?
Do you think 2,000 employees?
2,000
employees, which isn't a ton.
That's a lot more than I would expect, though.
I would honestly expect more because that was a very big project for them. They were working on that for the past decade or so.
I think a lot of that was just rumors and hype. And to answer your question on electric cars, I believe in electric cars, but I don't believe in a lot of companies have gone like full in on electric cars. I think hybrid cars are much more practical. They sort of fit the current the projection of the market. I don't think we can go from all gas cars to all electric cars in 20 years like all these companies want to do. I think hybrid cars are more practical because they don't need all the infrastructure with the chargers. I think they still really are very strong with removing some of this extra emissions because they make cars much more efficient. I mean, I drove a Prius for a while, and I was getting 50 miles per gallon on an 08 Prius. Like, it didn't even have an electric component. It just had an electric motor. And the fact that it was able to get 50 miles per gallon as an 08 car is just kind of crazy. And I think that's where the market should be leading and then go to electric. I don't hate the idea of getting rid of all full gas cars, but I think we need to make a transition to hybrid first before we're going full electric for every car. Well,
if you want to go.
I just want to add, I think that electric cars are practical. They drive well. But at the same time, there is the issue with the batteries and with because those are not that environmentally friendly either. Mm-hmm. And it is an issue if you do get into even a minor accident with an electric car. If you mess up the battery, the whole thing's totaled.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a big issue for a lot. Imagine you just bought a new Tesla, you get into a little fender bender, and it messes up the battery, the whole thing's totaled.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something that could be improved maybe, but it's definitely, a problem right now with electric cars.
I mean, I think another major problem with electric cars is that the batteries don't last long enough.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, that's the biggest issue.
Especially with these trucks, like the big 18-wheelers. Like the batteries in a truck, like you're expecting this truck to drive 500,000 miles before like anything needs to be changed with the engine. Like obviously a couple of parts probably need to get changed, but these trucks are supposed to go like huge amount of miles. And with electric cars, I don't believe that these electric motors, these batteries can last that much time. And I think the cost.
Well, they can't. I
think the cost and I think the environmental impact of changing all this is gonna overall negate the gains that you're getting from using electric for these kind of industries.
I think that in the case of trucks, I think from what we've seen in the past like 5-6 years, really, with companies moving towards electric trucks, I think that's a very viable option. I think there's been a lot of developments in that industry with electric, like, big semi trucks specifically. I think there's a lot of growth in that area right now. I think it's very possible that we see much more companies, when there's more developments in this, move towards fully electric trucks.
I mean, so I remember seeing this story about this Tesla that got 1.1 million miles. And it sounds impressive, shows like how strong Tesla are, that they can go 1.1 million miles. But then you look at this, the battery pack was replaced 3 times.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and how much does that cost?
Let's find out.
I mean, this is just personally with
me.
The
Tesla also had 13 motor replacements. I mean, how can you?
Well, I mean, I think that's more of a testament to Tesla having poor quality control. I think their build quality of, compared to other cars that are being produced is completely, it's terrible.
I was just about to say, like, personally with Teslas, like if you see a Tesla that someone had for a couple of years, the thing looks terrible.
Oh now. Those things are beat down, man. Their build quality is it's so poor.
I mean,
it is ridiculous.
It's still a new company, so we don't really know how long these cars would last. But we'll see in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
What I really think is crazy, and also to answer the question, so it's 5,000 to 7,000 per mile, depending on the model and everything, per module, and most cars have 4 modules, so it's like 20 to 28,000.
Jesus.
Without including labor costs.
That's ridiculous.
And additionally, I think it's crazy that the leader in the electric industry, Tesla, is unable to control this quality control.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't even think it's an issue if they can't. I think they choose not to because their big thing is making these cars affordable. They want to make, electric cars more affordable. And, the shortcuts that they take in that sense, and not shortcuts, but, the measures that they take in that sense is decreasing the build quality. And, I mean, that's a reasonable measure to take, but, I mean, when you compare, people like their cars to have high build quality, and then, I can't really speak to, like, whether that affects the performance at all, but I would assume it would.
And what I think is crazy is that, like, companies like Subaru, who have been making cars forever, just like, I mean, I don't know when Subaru started bringing its cars, but, like, I just got a new Subaru, and the build quality is awesome, and it's not an expensive car when you compare it to, like, a Tesla. It's pretty similar pricing. It doesn't get the same sort of mileage.
What I think is interesting with the pricing is that the government's getting involved, and they're giving people cash, like, benefits to buy these cars. I forgot what the exact amount is, but I'm pretty sure it's
$13,000.
A couple thousand, a few $1,000s, at least in New York, I think, to buy a Tesla. I think New York too has a program.
Oh, that would make sense, yeah.
And then I think what's crazy about this all is that you're like, I think we gotta really the government really needs to take a look at what the environmental impact of gasoline versus these batteries is, because I don't think it's as substantial as one would think.
Well, I hear a lot of different things about that. I hear a lot of people say that, long term batteries are way more eco-friendly than,
Well, can batteries be recycled? Like, once you...
Oh, no, I don't believe that's the case. Or actually, let me look that up.
I'm not a battery expert or anything, but I've been hearing, like, the opposite, that they're really bad for the environment.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, I've been hearing, both sides, that people say, oh, it's very eco-friendly, And then other people saying, yeah, well, you know, when you really look at it, you look at the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not eco-friendly at all.
I think it really depends on the measures taken after the battery is done. So, like, if you recycle it and dispose of it properly, I think it can be eco-friendly. But, I mean, I know these metals that they need in these batteries. I mean, I follow a company, TMC, the mining company, sorry. And they're all about undersea mining for these kind of metals. And just looking at the environmental impact of that, I believe it actually isn't as harsh on the environment as was predicted. But, like, I mean, we're, like, starting to mine the ocean floor for these metals.
Uh-huh.
I think with a regular car, of course, you need some of these metals. But, like, I think this need for lithium and other, like, precious metals could be an overall downfall to the electric car industry.
Unless they figure something out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean hopefully.
I'm sure there's alternatives out there that they could.
I hope so. But I just I mean, honestly, if we want to start talking about the underwater mining.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think there's a huge amount of potential for this industry. I mean, so TMC did I need to look at what this test is called. So it's an environmental impact test. And, of course, there's a lot about this that we need to talk about because it was from NORI, which is a TMC subsidiary that's sharing preliminary findings on the environmental impacts of pilot nodule collection system test. So there's a lot of bias in this with the fact that this is TMC's company. Uh-huh. It's a subsidiary. But they found that there's, like, very little impacts that are obvious on the environment from these sort of tests that were run. And that shows a huge amount of potential for investors because TMC and other underwater mining companies are valued at almost nothing right now.
I mean, like, if they're mining for companies like Tesla, I don't think Tesla's going anywhere. I think it's a great company if that's the case.
I mean, I think it all depends on if they can get the approval they need because I know there's a lot of
probably a lot of pushback.
Because it's, like, international waters, you need, like, a country to sponsor you. So, like, I know Canada's sponsoring. I think Canada's sponsoring TMC, or maybe it's Norway or something like that. But I think it's interesting to think about the fact that, like, there's going to be pushback based on these countries because, like, if a country approves underwater mining to a company that's, like, going to impact us negatively, this could be the start of, like, new conflicts even.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And I wonder if there's going to be an international body in charge of making sure this is all performed properly. Because in international waters, I don't know who would be sort of in control of or in charge of making sure this is all safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that's a risk for the industry.
That's definitely something that, you know, countries could leverage in conflict, you know.
Yeah.
When you think about the long-term effects of that, yeah. So what country really has an advantage? What countries really, you know, got the best footing in that industry?
I think a country is going to be able, like, if a country gives, like, TMC permission to mine from them, TMC is going to base themselves in the country. Yeah. And I think that's going to give
No, but is there, like, specific, like, locations geographically where this mining is, like, occurring most?
So, the Hawaiian Islands, southeastern Lake Plateau, California, the Gulf of Alaska.
We're chilling.
That's all U.S. territorial waters. That's all the U.S. territorial waters. But honestly, I just want to talk about a little bit about Meta. Sort of switch
the metaverse.
Rerouting. So Meta. Let's go full on.
I never saw this coming. I mean, I bought back into Meta.
Ooh, long time investor.
Ooh, 2020.
Was Meta around our senior year?
Well, I think that's right when it turned into Meta.
Really? So tell us about your Meta investing journey. You bought, you sold, you bought.
I bought when it hit around 220. I think I bought it. I think I bought it 220. I bought like a quarter share or something because I was broke. I'm not gonna lie. And
so around $50.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, $50. I was down 56%. And then I just held because, like, I'm not losing 56%, guys. Come on. And then now it's up at $500.
So why'd you decide to buy at that point?
Well, so if you look at this chart, it was down like 40%. And I saw the value in Facebook and Meta, the metaverse. So I really believed in Meta to have overall growth.
So now that Apple, going back to the Vision Pro, I mean, the metaverse has a big competitor now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Apple's trying. I think Apple's more about the AR, augmented reality, where they're trying to put you in the real world. I think Meta sort of has...
it's the metaverse, man.
Yeah, I think they're pushing for the metaverse. So I think they're playing two different markets.
Which I think you know... I think Apple's going to release their own. It's going to be way better.
I mean, I could see it, but I think...
Not in the way that, you know, like, it's not going to be like games and stuff, I feel. That, like, you know... I mean, I don't know much about the metaverse. I don't think it's going to be like game. I think Apple's going to, you know... I don't know, it's going to make some crazy stuff, man. It's going to be like, oh, you can meet virtually with someone, like a 3D projection of them. Like you're talking face to face, you know? I think it's going to be stuff like that.
Are playing two different audiences here. I think Meta...
100%, yeah.
Meta's looking for the people that are looking for just, like...
Exactly, and Apple's going to push for a more, like, premium experience of that, which is what they've done in the past.
I think that's exactly right. Even with, like, the computers that they have, like, all other computers are very user-friendly to install new games, anything like that. Apple makes it hard, and I think that's a big reason why they're successful, because they make it... They take away one thing, like...
It's a premium product, man.
Game, but they give you all this other things, like integration with their whole ecosystem.
What gave me a bad taste in my mouth with the Vision Pro was that they don't allow Netflix, maybe Disney Plus. Like they're not letting those apps on the Vision Pro, allowing it because I guess they want their own streaming service.
Yeah, they want so yeah. Going back to you can go ahead.
I'm almost done. I mean, which is like which is obviously not good for the consumer because, I mean, people love Netflix, people love, you know, HBO, and they can't watch, you know, what they love on the Vision Pro after spending all that money.
You know, listen, man, I could go deep on this, dude. The Apple ecosystem isn't good for the consumer. It's good and bad, but I would say it's more bad, you know. It doesn't give consumers a lot of options, man. And, you know, every Apple product we have seen within the last... however long, probably since the beginning of Apple, you know, it has been designed to push this ecosystem. You look at AirPods. You know, AirPods connect to your iPhone like in 2 seconds. As soon as you open that case. Doesn't do that with Samsung. And Samsung doesn't do that with you. Because I have pairs and like other stuff. I have Sony's. I spent like $300 on some Sony headphones, man. It takes me like a minute to connect. I have to go into the settings.
I'm actually pretty sure Apple AirPods are actually pretty compatible with a Samsung phone. When I was in high school, I believe one of my friends had a Samsung, and his AirPods actually connected pretty nicely.
All right, well, I don't trust that.
It's false, fake news.
Trying to debunk me.
Well, I mean, of course it's not.
But yeah, so
I don't think that they.
I think Andrew's actually right.
I think Vision Pro. Okay, he could be. I think with the Vision Pro, it's designed to push the ecosystem. I think what you said really supports that. You know, it's not allowing. It's really trying to push Apple TV. It's trying to push Apple TV. It's trying to push their ecosystem, and each product that gets released is pushing us more and more into the Apple ecosystem. We're all buying, man. We're all buying it. I'm shamelessly a part of Apple ecosystem, man. And it's so convenient. It's great. Andrew here, he has a gaming laptop. It's a Windows, man. Whenever I text him, that stuff pops up on his phone. It doesn't pop up on his laptop, man. It's very convenient. It's very convenient. Oh, Jimmy too. Jimmy has a Windows, man. Not to talk down on Windows. Windows are great, but it's about that ecosystem.
I've had a terrible experience with what I have. My computer,
the Dell. Yeah,
it's just these computers these days are not reliable. If you think back, I remember having an old ThinkPad. Mm-hmm. Those things,
ThinkPads are great, dude.
Those things, I think that they might be better than Apple.
Oh, ThinkPad?
Maybe.
I mean, ThinkPad
it might be more reliable.
Yeah. ThinkPad has been known for releasing quality, reliable, and pretty affordable products since their conception, man. I mean,
I mean, talking about finance, this is a financial podcast. I think ThinkPad is best for that industry.
Ooh, that's such a hot take, man. That's a real hot take.
I really don't think Apple is well fitted to work for a financial.
That's part of the reason why I got a Windows computer.
Same. I mean, I don't think you can comment on this. I don't think Excel necessarily works the best on an Apple computer.
You know, that used to be the case. Sorry to cut you off. It used to be the case. My experience with Excel, the only real buffer you experience is, you know, I'm not sure how it is on Windows, but I'm sure I know as a fact. Windows is much more integrated with, you know, Microsoft services.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of a bumper that you run into with Apple products. But in terms of like, you know, the way the program runs, I mean, Apple, especially with their last few laptop releases, man, I mean, they've just been blowing the competition out of the water. They're, you know, I'm sitting here with an Apple MacBook with an M2 chip. It's the MacBook Air. And this thing's a tank, man. This thing's a workhorse. And yeah, man, it's not so much about, you're not running into, you know, the issue you used to run in was like, you know, issues with the program itself and how it worked with an Apple product. But now, like, I mean, you know, these laptops are so powerful, man, and they just work seamlessly. You know, I mean, if you get, you know, you get all your cloud storage set up, man, it's really a breeze.
Can I add one thing?
Sorry, not to be an Apple ad, but you know.
Okay. Something I don't like about Apple Macs is the mouse, because I'm always pressing down.
Oh yeah, the trackpad. Yeah,
it's always messing me up. I can't. I can't. I'm used to pressing down, and I can't get with the non-press. I can't get with it. But at the end of the day, I'm having a bad experience with Windows, so I might have to switch.
Yeah, man. Join the ecosystem, bro. Welcome to the jungle.
I might have to join the Legion, the Apple Legion.
The jungle, bro.
Welcome.
I really gotta say, another thing with Apple, I think that they have really done an excellent job at making their own chips and making these chips insanely powerful for what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
I think Apple is honestly poised to compete very strongly in the AI market because they really can make powerful chips, and they make them so well. Because if you look at a MacBook compared to a Windows laptop, MacBooks all have so much less airflow, and you'd think that would make them overheat. I mean, Jonathan, you can comment on this. Did your computer ever have any problems?
Look, man, my computer, this new Mac doesn't even have a fan.
Exactly. It's like crazy to think that you can have a computer that's as powerful as that without a fan.
Yeah.
But it's all a testament to how well Apple is at designing these chips. And honestly, if I'm going to be honest, if I think there's one competitor to NVIDIA and one company that's going to be able to sort of design a chip that's going to compete, I think Apple is really strongly poised to really compete in this market.
100%.
I don't know, and of course, I don't know exactly how an AI chip works. I'm not an engineer, or I don't know.
It's not AI chips. It's computer chips.
You're designing a chip that works optimally for AI.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
that's where the whole competition is.
I think we're talking in circles, so I would just buy all the stocks.
buy some S&P.
Time this back into Apple's competition with NVIDIA. I am so... No, I don't even like... I'm talking like I'm an Apple fanboy. I don't even love Apple like that, man. I mean, I do and I don't. I am very eager to see Apple's generative AI efforts. Because, oh my God, I feel like it's going to be next level. It's going to be next level, to say the least.
I'm actually really hoping that they put some generative AI in Siri, because I gotta say, using Siri is one of the worst experiences I've had using Apple.
Dumb, man. Siri's real dumb.
After AI came out, it goes to show you how underdeveloped or terrible Siri is.
I'll be driving and I want to ask like the most simple question, like something about like where something is, and I'll ask it, and it makes me unlock my phone. I need to look at my phone. I can't look at my phone when I'm driving. So I'm just stuck not having an answer to whatever I
remember
want to know.
like back in the day when it came out, everyone was like, it was like a huge deal. But I was like, this shit sucks.
It literally won't even look something up for you. It will just give you the results from the web.
Exactly.
It's just a browser.
It's a microphone. It's a microphone.
Literally.
You know,
it doesn't even hear right. It doesn't even hear right.
Exactly.
Even when I'm trying to call someone, it's so bad because I'll say like call Dylan, and if I have 3 Dylans in my phone, it just picks one. Like why doesn't it ask me like Dylan? And on that note,
all right, we're gonna have to cut that one.
All right, yeah, let's get out of here. All right, let's wrap this up. All right.
Thank you all for listening.
Closing time. It's closing time here at Fairfield Finance News Studios.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
This is the first podcast, man, one of many. So tune in. Probably weekly. I'd say weekly. Not next week. Not next week when we'll be on break.
We're out of commission for next week, but I hope you enjoyed. Have a great break.
Have a great break. I mean, it's probably not their spring break. Other schools' spring break. We have a weird spring break. Oh, Millie wants to say something.
Great time. I think this is going to be a great experience. Hopefully you learn something. Liked our insights.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not too much gibberish up here. Hopefully you guys can understand.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's more of an entertainment type podcast, but we talk serious stuff.
This kid wants it to be an entertainment type. We're trying to be educational. All right. Goodbye.